Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the NXT Podcast. I'm your host, Skelly Bones, here on the No Holds Barred Network, bringing you all the news, reviews, and more when it comes to NXT live every Wednesday on the USA Network. So let's get right into it. We have the October 23rd episode of NXT. Opens up with Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. This is a women's number one contender match for the next one to face Shayna Baszler for the women's NXT Championship. Starts off with a test of strength, and then we get a spear from Bianca and a double stomp from Rhea, and Bianca sold it like death. It looked great. Then we cut to a commercial. This is another match where I feel the commercial ruined it for me. It was, you had both women getting some heat, and then immediately, you're gone to this picture-in-picture BS, which is bad enough, like, that you're not watching it, but then you have it with no sound, which makes it even worse, and then you're trying to, figure out what the hell's going on. I don't know. I've complained about this enough. It's just whatever. This match was actually awesome. Two of my favorite women right now in NXT. I think Bianca's great. Rhea's very good, too. And both women, while being good, have a lot of room for improvement, and that just means they're going to get better. So, Rhea, I think it's her time. It's time for her to be the NXT champion. I think it's time for Shayna to either move up to the main roster or, well, maybe I don't wish that upon her. Maybe fade back in the background for a minute. Other than that, good match. You had interference from Io Shirai, and then Candice came out and took out Io. So you're working in some more storylines. Rhea hit the Riptide or Ripcord. It's her the pump handle slam as the finish. Good match. Rhea Ripley's your number one. We got Pete Dunne walking with Tyler Bate outside. They're stopped by Kathy for an impromptu interview. Dunne basically says, in regards to Priest kicking him in the balls, well, he did what he had to do, and he has no excuses. And when he was asked about Killian Dane, he simply said, I don't care about Killian Dane. Well, he didn't say it. He just said, I don't care about Killian Dane. That accent was terrible. This was very good. Good promo, short promo, but, Dunne is a perfect example of a tweener, if you want to call it that. Even though I consider him, I don't know, I consider him a heel in the ring, but I guess he is, a part of Mustache Mountain, which is a face group, so, or not Mustache Mountain, but, whatever, you know what they are. Him and Tyler Bate and Trent Seven. I just like that you have he doesn't come out here and go, oh, man, Priest cheated to win and blah, blah, blah. He just said, no excuses. They did what he had to do because Dunne knows he would have done the same thing. He's not averse to breaking fingers or stepping on toes or, kicking somebody in the balls if he has to. So, this was a nice little character development. And then you see, we get to see Bate again as he was in the crowd for the, Matt Riddle and Cameron Grimes match. After we got a Ciampa hype vid, and then we have the Matt Riddle and Cameron Grimes match, which had they made sure to show Tyler Bate in the crowd before the match started. And then we had a really good match. This was a match that had a lot of moves. If you're a fan of moves, you will like this match. It started with a little bit of groundwork, and both Riddle and Lee are very, very good. I don't know if Lee was an amateur wrestler. I know Riddle was for sure in UFC, but they both were very quick and good on the ground and had some good exchanges together that looked really smooth. What do we have? Riddle has 15 signature moves. He's got the Broton and the Bro Derek and what's the floating bro? All these every every move he has is a signature, basically. It's, I don't know, just funny to me. I love Riddle. He's super good. He's basically might as well be your number one contender, if not, you got your upper echelon of guys. He's in your upper echelon. He's a main event guy. Cameron Grimes is I'm a fan. I really do like him. I'm not a huge fan of how they've been pushing him lately. And not that they've been pushing him, but that they've been giving him these goofy squash matches that aren't really helping his credibility at all. This is a match that should have been had, weeks ago. Because now you have him on this, like, oh, he's on a 4-win streak. And a loss to Riddle kind of bumps his momentum down a bit. But also, a loss to Riddle elevates him when it's as good as a match as this was. So, it's a double-edged sword. I kind of wish this would have been a match we could have seen a couple weeks ago. And then started having Grimes squash people afterwards. Like he got his confidence back or something. But this was a good match. I said a lot of counters, a lot of high spots. You had Riddle countering the double stomp into the Bro Derek. And then after the match, he tried to fist bump Grimes. Grimes didn't want to fist bump him back. He was mad. So then he fist bumps Tyler Bate, and then Bate and Grimes start going at it, and Bate ends up knocking out Grimes with a punch. So I'm assuming we'll have Grimes and Bate in the future, if not next week or soon. Then we got a recap of the Breezango Forgotten Sons match from a couple weeks ago, where Forgotten Sons beat up Everrise before, and then came out and beat up Breezango and whatever. Who gives a shit? We had a quick video of Dijakovic backstage getting hyped up for his match, the 3-way for the North American title, which will be in the main event later tonight. Then we had match 3, Breezango, tonight in Top Gun cosplay, along with 2, what would you call them? Not air marshals, but I don't know, flight directors or whatever. They had the flashlight torches or whatever. We had a third member coming out. It was supposed to be Kushida originally, but because he's still injured, we got Swerve Scott, who got super over in his match against Roderick Strong a week or two ago. And I'm glad that they're already putting him back in more of a upper role, and it looks like they're really pushing him. The Forgotten Sons came out. You got Riker, Jackson Riker, oh god, Wesley Blake, and Cutler. I can't think of what his first name is, but god. Every time I watch these guys and I see Riker in the ring, all I can think is like, God, I can't wait for him to just beat the shit out of these two and have a singles run, because Riker is actually like legit a badass. Like, he looks great. He's got a solid look. He's a decent ass worker. He can go in the ring with pretty much anybody and look formidable. It's like, talk about getting held back. And then, not only that, it's a 3-man group. Why haven't you been having these guys have 3-man matches so he can get in the ring? Like, I've seen him maybe have like 2 or 3 squash matches in the whole time this group's been together. Meanwhile, you've had a Cutler and Blake fucking making nothing happen. That's why nobody gives a shit about him, because it's those two. So, I don't know. Who cares? This match was good. It was alright. Breezangle's fine. And the Forgotten Sons are fine. You got 6 guys in this match that know how to work a match. It was kind of boring to me. You had your basic, heat on the baby face, cut him off, and then hot tag, blah, blah, blah. So this match starts, and Riker actually starts the match off, and people are kind of excited. And as soon as he tags in Cutler immediately goes to a headlock, and the crowd dies just instantly. Like, you can just feel the vibe of this match go down. You also had Beth Phoenix throwing out some terrible Top Gun references throughout this match, so that was awful. And also, like, her gimmick is that she's, like, doesn't understand that Breezango are, like, male strippers and weird. I don't know. This is strange. Anyways, Swerve Scott got the pin and got the win in this match. It was an okay match. I was just happy to see Swerve get the win and have some more momentum in the future. And I hope that he gets into either the North American title or even the maybe upper echelon pretty soon. We'll see what happens. He's got a lot of potential. The dude is good. We then had Lio Rush come out for commentary for the next match, which was Angel Garza versus Jack Gallagher. This is the first time we've seen Gallagher back in NXT in quite a while. This was a pretty good match, a pretty short showcase for Garza, basically. Gallagher looked alright, but Garza pretty much got most of the offense in. He's super over with the NXT crowd. His tearaway pants gimmick is over. He's another one where he's basically a heel, but everybody loves him, so I'm sure he'll be a face soon enough. This match was fine. Garza's pretty good. Then we had Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox versus Marina Shafir and Jessamyn Dukes. Basically, Shayna Baszler's two lackeys. And we find out that this match has the stipulation of being a number one contenders match for the WWE Women's Tag belts. So the winner of this match is going to go on to face Asuka and Kairi Sane for the WWE Women's Tag titles. Now, Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox, while both pretty good, singles wrestlers on their own, have never teamed before. This is the first time they've ever been a tag team. And Marina Shafir and Jessamyn Dukes they've been a team, but I haven't seen these two wrestle in a year, I think. I don't know the last time I've seen these two in the ring. And also, they're not that great. This match was very for me. I'm not not that I dislike Dakota Kai, but I'm not as big of a fan of hers as I think other people are. I think a lot of people are kind of overhyped on her. Tegan Nox is actually good. I like Tegan. I think she's got a lot of potential. I hope her knees hold up because those braces look fucking gnarly. She hit the shiniest wizard for the win. And then we got a video of Asuka and Kairi calling out Tegan and Dakota for next week. So next week on NXT, we'll have Asuka and Kairi Sane returning to face Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox for the WWE Women's Tag Titles. So let's see what happens with that. That actually should be an amazing match, and I think the crowd's going to be super hyped to see Asuka back and Asuka and Kairi back. So that'll be good for next week. We then have our main event of the night, Keith Lee versus Dominik Dijakovic versus Roderick Strong for the North American title. This match was what JR would call a slobber knocker, if you will. You had a lot of insane spots in this match. You already got, it's not normal, it's abnormal. The Keith Lee Dominik Dijakovic rivalry and the stuff those guys can do. Then you add Roderick Strong to the mix, and it's it's gonna spell disaster at Sacrificed. That's all I can say. This match is just great. You got three guys that I love all three of these dudes. Strong did a great job of picking his spots and staying out of the way enough to not look like an idiot. He got taken out, and then also I was actually expecting there to be more shenanigans. There was actually none until the end of the match. It was a straight up three-way match. You had a crazy flip dive from Keith Lee to the outside, and pretty much took out Strong for the end of the match. Then you had a avalanche choke slam from Dijakovic to Lee. There was a Tower of Doom spot that was like super scary looking because I assume they were trying to do a delayed Tower of Doom spot, but because the timing was off or somebody couldn't hold, I don't know if Dijakovic lost his grip on Strong or Strong couldn't like hold up properly. It just looked it looked fucking terrifying. Thank God nobody died in that spot, but everybody was okay. And then we finished with Keith Lee hitting the middle rope power bomb onto Dijakovic, and then immediately getting the running knee to the side of the head from Strong, which then led to the 1-2-3. And Strong remains your North American champion. This match was great. I don't know if I'd call it a 5-star match, but it was pretty damn close. Just a lot of high spots. The crowd was going nuts. The crowd was hot. You know, this is awesome. NXT chants all the whole way through. This is a great main event. This is what it should be. I was fine seeing Strong retain because I think there's a lot more you can do with Strong as the heel champ in the Undisputed Era. And Lee and Dijakovic, though, I think need to definitely separate and fight new people. That's got to be number one. Or they do the freaking... I can't imagine this happening, but I don't know if they want to be main roster about it. Make them a freaking tag team and just have them dominate. But then after the match, the Undisputed Era did come out. They beat up Keith Lee, and they kicked him out of the ring. And then you had Ciampa come out to the ring to confront all 4 members of the Undisputed Era. Then you had Johnny Gargano come out to help his buddy Ciampa. So now it's 2-on-4. Then finally, you had Finn Balor's music finally hit. And Finn comes out, and it's going to be 3-on-4. And then Finn starts to take his jacket off, and bam, Pele kicks Gargano in the head. He turns heel. Oh, we got heel Finn. This actually... it caught me off guard for sure, and the crowd was shocked and just super surprised. I love when things can be legitimately surprising, and this was. Like, I was not expecting a heel turn from Finn, especially not this soon into his NXT return. So he Pele kicks Gargano, then goes outside the ring and shotgun drop kicks him into a couple of plants sitting next to the guardrail, takes him out, and then grabs him and hits his 1916 Brainbuster DDT right onto the entrance ramp, and it looked freaking gnarly. Great heel turn, shocked crowd. You have the Undisputed Era beating up Ciampa in the ring, and then they turn to Finn on the ramp, and they're all doing the Undisputed Era, hand symbol, the UE hand symbol. And I love you hear a couple guys in the crowd, do it, Finn, do it. And Finn does not do the Undisputed Era hand signal, and his music plays, and we end the show. So Finn is a heel, but he is not with Undisputed Era, at least not as of yet. And this was a very good NXT. Great opener with the women's match. Happy to finally see a women's match that I really, really enjoyed. I think there's been a lot of lackluster matches in my opinion, and I think this was 2 girls that really could go, that put on a great show. The Riddle and Grimes match was really good. It was a good showcase for Grimes, finally. I think this was his best match that I've seen him have in NXT yet. His one with Raul Mendoza was very good, but this one was just with Riddle in the ring. It makes him feel legit, and I'm excited to see what happens with Grimes in the future. The tag match with Breezango and Forgotten Sons was forgettable to me. I was happy to see Swerve Scott get the win. That's about it. I hope they continue to push him. Breezango, I think, is fine. What they're doing is fine. They're you know, I hate to say that they're the new No Way Jose, because that's a bit of an insult to their in-ring ability. But in terms of their gimmick and what their role is right now, they do it well, and they're committed to it. Fandango, of course, is like 110% committed to this gimmick, and it's fun to watch him perform. The Angel Garza Jack Gallagher match was fine for what it was. It was short. There was nothing to it. The women's tag match was also pretty short and forgettable for me. The main event was amazing, and the post-match angle was one of the best post-match things I've seen, probably since Ciampa's original turn at the end of TakeOver, after the credits symbol went up, and then he threw Johnny into the LED boards and all that. That was great. And this is the first time I've had that same legitimate "oh my god" response when Finn kicked Gargano in the head. I was just like, holy shit. So it's cool to see that I can still be surprised, and they can still do surprising things to fans that have been watching for many years. So this was cool. Overall, I'm very happy with this episode. And one other quick thing that I had an idea about. You got Gargano and Ciampa, and they need 2 more guys since freaking Finn turned on him, a dick. So now we could have Gargano, Ciampa, Dijakovic, and Lee versus the Undisputed Era. There you go. Bam. Your War Games is booked. You're welcome, Triple H. So that pretty much wraps it up for NXT this week. Like I said, a really good episode. I would definitely make this one you should watch if you haven't already seen it. I'll quickly get into a little bit of AEW NXT ratings in our favorite segment, the Wednesday Night Wars. That's Stone Cold's music. I'm going to get sued. Let's see. This week, NXT did 698,000 viewers, while AEW did 963,000 viewers. Both down, still trending downward. A couple positives. This was, of course, during the World Series, so there won't be any more baseball. And they won't have to worry about football because you have Monday and Thursday, so they're in the clear on that. The only thing they'll have going forward now will be your, standard NBA basketball games on Wednesday. And I think the word of mouth is going to start spreading for both shows because for someone like me who's been watching NXT, it's an old show and, I've been watching it for years. But for a lot of people, this is the first time they've seen it. This is the first 4 weeks that they've ever seen of this show. So I think word of mouth is going to start spreading. I think Wednesdays are going to become the new destination night for wrestling fans. And I think as people start to put out there on social media and let people know, hey, there's good wrestling on that you can watch again. There's it's not just Monday Night Raw bullshit. You don't have to see, dudes getting cucked by their wives and shit like that. You can actually see good wrestling matches and coherent storylines. So, though we are trending downwards, I feel very soon we're going to have a slow, steady rise back up for both shows. Whether we get to 1 million again, I think it might be a while for NXT. AEW, I think, can quite easily get back up to 1 million. They're garnering a lot of high praise from wrestling fans. So I think it'll be really interesting to see what happens in the future. But in the meantime, we should just sit back and enjoy this freaking amazing time we have, because I think even if you go back to the Attitude Era or the Monday Night Wars, if you want to, for what they were, we never had this quality of wrestling. I dare you to find, one episode of Raw that has. Let me take that back. I dare you to find 10 episodes of Raw or Nitro that have the amount of like blow-away matches that we've seen just in this first 4 weeks on both AEW and NXT. It's been incredible. We've been spoiled as wrestling fans, frankly. So we got to soak this up for as long as we can until Vince does something to it. I think Tony Khan, we're pretty much in the clear. AEW, knock on wood, isn't actually gonna implode on themselves, or at least not anytime soon. Maybe Vince will be so flabbergasted by the XFL that he'll forget that NXT exists and just let Triple H do his thing. But you never know. So I think that wraps it up for us here at the NXT Podcast. I am your host, Skelly Bones. You can follow me on Twitter at Bones_Skelly. Make sure you follow the No Holds Barred Network at NHB Network. Make sure you follow our sister podcast, the All Elite Podcast, at All Elite Pod. The host, Kyle and Tiff, make sure to follow them at Real Kyle Masters and at Loves to Dream 82. You can follow them for all the AEW in-depth discussion and reviews. And again, thanks for checking us out, and I will see you guys on Tuesday with the next NXT preview. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for listening. Thanks for doing everything. What the fuck am I talking about? Goodbye.